Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media. Today is a Wednesday. As always, Wednesday is our live show, and we are very lucky to host our leader all the way from Kisii County. I will give him a chance to introduce himself before we go into discussion. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes. Hello. Hello, Brother Benson.
Hello, I can hear you.
Yes. Can I introduce myself?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Hello, guys. I'm Engineer Moinde.Dennis. I'm a former aspirant in the last general election, but currently I'm a member. I'm a co-founder and Secretary General, acting Secretary General to a new party that we're trying to form called ELA Party. ELA means Economic Liberation Alliance Party. It's still in the kitchen and in the process of registration, but we hope in a month's time it will be up and we'll be going around and trying to sell it to our people on the ground. I'm also a father. Uh, yeah, to lovely two kids and expecting some two soon.
Mhm.
So, if all goes well, maybe in a month's time, I'll be a father of four.
Okay.
I'm also a businessman and a very, very hardworking farmer.
Which means you
Yeah.
have a big chunk of land somewhere.
Yeah, we no no no, yeah, we some of the lands that we use in this kind of business is leasing. We lease
Mhm.
these pieces of shamba for whatever period the owner
Mhm.
is willing to lease it to you.
Mhm.
We try to get something from it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Dennis. I would call you the Honorable because you vied. So since you've tested the waters, that name always will be with you.
It
Today
sticks.
we just want to have a conversation on
Uh,
the challenges, especially the young leaders are facing for the elective seats. Because, like, as much as you might be vying for these seats, there are so many challenges, like first timers, as a young person that is venturing into politics. There are so many challenges that you are facing. So, can you please just elaborate for us, or just give us the challenges that you faced during your time?
Yeah, I'll say for a new entrant into politics,
Mhm.
or a young person who's joining politics, for the first time, there are a lot of challenges. You know, uh, they are wide. It's a wide range of challenges, but I'll try to talk about my personal challenges. Then I'll talk about the general challenges. A new
Mhm.
entrant might face during that period.
Mhm.
So, but I'll also try to be as elaborate as possible
Mhm.
because sometimes there are different dynamics.
Mhm.
Some people who I would say there are some challenges somebody will face when you're buying in Nairobi, and different challenges when you're buying in the village. Uh, yeah. But so I think the first and the most important challenge is understanding the dynamics and the
Mhm.
terrain of the political world,
Mhm.
which most young people don't take seriously
Mhm.
when they get into this politics. Because there are things like location, just like I've said.
Mhm.
There are things like how to engage the people. There are things like the party dynamics, which party will do well, where, or even how you get the party ticket.
Mhm.
There are challenges about on the financial, muscle of the aspirant,
Mhm.
which is very important, by the way,
Yeah.
very important. And then there are other factors. Now, those are my personal, challenges. And then there are other factors such as family support,
Mhm.
friend support, and sometimes one thing that will come to realize is that as a young person,
Mhm.
when you get into politics, most of the people that are going to bring you down are the young people,
Mhm.
not the wazee.
Yeah.
The young, your friends, your age mates, your colleagues, your the guys who are, the youth, the young guys in the village. They'll always, they're the guys that are going to campaign you. They're the guys that are going to smear, mud on you. They are the guys that are going to fight you, sometimes even physically,
Mm-hmm.
always trying to pull you down. And there's nothing much you can do about it. But it's one of the biggest challenge I think
Mm-hmm.
the new entrants, get when they are getting into these. And now the general challenges that I think some of the, these are just, you know basically, most the challenges that face nearly every entrant.
Mm-hmm.
Finance is one, but there's this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Most the new entrants or the youth are not so serious about the seat.
Mm-hmm.
Some are just, you'll get somebody openly saying, I'm just trying. When you've just said, I'm just trying and see where and you don't have a target. That means you don't have a target.
Yes.
There's no goal to achieve. You are just, you're just joining to
Mm-hmm.
see how it goes. You don't have any intent of winning.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot even go the extra mile to try and convince these guys to vote for you.
Mm-hmm.
uh, and because of that, even the party that is going to sponsor you
Mm-hmm.
might not take you serious. And if there was any kind of and if there's any kind of facilitation
Mm-hmm.
or financing from the party, you might end up not getting the facilitation from the party.
Yes.
Another challenge, a general one for, most entrants, is the challenge of going against the big parties or the experienced guys in the political scene.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you will be vying against somebody who has tried, or twice or thrice.
Mm-hmm.
You'll also be vying against an incumbent, the guy who's on the seat. You'll also be vying against people who are older, but not necessarily in the political, but older. And I know sometimes there's that, some of our people might, consider that as maturity.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, I think the older guy might do better if given a chance than, these young boys and girls that are joining this politics.
Okay, let me ask you before you go. You talk about the young people who might bring you down. Do you think the majority of young people do not understand the political processes and what the election is all about, or they have just decided, maybe because they grow up with you together, they feel like there's this is you who is going to maybe get more money or get rich, or what is happening?
Yeah, whatever we just said are things that I consider might be the
Yeah.
reason why.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, uh, the first and the most important thing, it is not, some of our youth don't are not happy that you're doing better than them.
Mhm.
And there's this, it is even worse. It is worse for a young man, or a young woman, or a young lady
Mhm.
who gets into politics, and it seems, or it's true, that they are well oiled. Oil means, their financial, there's some good, muscles there in terms of finance.
Mhm.
So there's this kind of, what do I call it? I can't call it jealous,
Mhm.
but the feeling that, this guy is doing better now.
Mhm.
But when, if we give him an opportunity, he'll be doing better, way better than how he's doing right now.
Mhm.
And it's a very weird way of looking at stuff, but it happens. It is something that happens, and it happens to a lot of people.
Yeah,
Uh,
maybe let me that the same thing, combine it with, because let's say, like, especially like the place where you vied,
yeah.
This is maybe a
yeah,
place whereby you were born. You know the challenges, what are taking place
yeah,
there. You know
yeah,
everything that everyone is going through, and maybe through your education system or through your experience, you know on how all these challenges can be overcome, right? And you have
yeah,
this blueprint, and you share with them this blueprint. Still,
yeah.
they don't kind of like understand your blueprint. How how
Uh,
how how do you is there lack of understanding of the political processes?
no, we are actually we are facing what we I can call as a traditional way of voting.
Mhm,
Uh, a lot of people in the village are used to vote in a certain way.
mhm,
When you bring dynamism, I'll say they're static. But when you bring a lot of dynamism, you try to give them a different perspective of the whole thing,
mhm,
of what the seat entails, what you want to do, or what they expect, and what you expect from them. They don't get it at first. Huh? Other than not getting it, they are very difficult to change or adapt to new way of doing things. For instance, I'll say from where I come from, there is the issue of the party,
yeah.
and there are parties that are well, they are following, they are well supported by our people. There are parties that are loved by our people. Now, one mistake that somebody can do is to be vying against the parties that people consider as good for them.
Mhm,
The other thing is, which happens all the time, is how you interact with these people. You as a young man, you will get to the ground, meet the mamas there, and you're talking to them, and they're like, oh, we didn't like the way he was addressing us. He needs to go and learn, and they it's not based on any foundation or any important thing.
mhm,
They'll just say, I think he needs to go and learn how to engage us. He needs to learn how to address us as the our mama in the village, as the wazee in the village. And because of that, let him first clear the path. When he comes again next time,
mhm.
we might consider him.
Let me
And
ask you. Let me ask you. You might
yes,
how did you? Because like I know so many of the young leaders that I interaction with in this show. There's something that
yeah,
they usually meet on the ground. If you go to the village or you approach people that you are running, the first thing they
yes,
tell you, will you be having enough money to bribe so that you can be that person? Have you met such like questions on your trail? Did you meet these questions on your trail of will you, because that
yeah.
one first of all question your powerhouse in terms of money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm,
I quite a lot, because the first thing, and it's a very common thing.
mm,
Some of your main campaigners, the kitchen cabinet, the team that you're using to seek the votes. I
mhm,
think the first question they'll ask you:
mhm,
how oiled are you? How well prepared? They wouldn't be talking about, they might not ask directly at how much money you have for this purpose, but they'll ask you, how prepared are you?
mhm,
And then you ask them, what do you mean prepared? We have the people on the ground,
mm,
we have our agents,
mhm,
our campaigners, and then we have the electoral body.
mhm,
And those guys, the how do you call them, the guys that run the election at the polling centers.
mhm,
So they'll ask you, are you able to influence all this group of people?
mhm,
Us, the campaigners, the people who are going to vote for you, and it literally means, do you have enough money
mhm,
to run all these, or control all these four different groups of people who are directly involved in this election.
Mhm.
So I think the best I would advise my my fellow youth. The best thing is to tell them yes, even when you know your your financial muscle might not be that your that bag of money that you have might not be that big as they expect or as they're asking. I think the
Mhm.
best thing, if you don't convince them
Mhm.
that you have the enough muscle to run this election to the very end,
Mhm.
they'll not. Some might not leave you. Some might leave you, but
Mhm.
some might not leave you. But they will be in your team and still be in
Mhm.
your opponent's team.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And
you, at
mm,
the end of it, you lose.
mm. and how do you how did you manage to a situation whereby you are being measured, like they question what you've done for the community first before you give us your vote. Kwani wewe umefanya nini ndio tukupatie? Inamaanisha lazima kwanza ufanye
Yeah, yeah,
ndio waku nini, ama wanaangalia pesa yako ndio wajue ukienda bado utazidi kuwapatia pesa.
yeah. Before I even answer that question, let me. There's something that I realized in the village. I
Mhm,
don't know. It does not happen in the towns, but it is very common in the village.
mhm,
Mm, uh, the guys might not. Sometimes they might not ask what you've done,
mhm.
but sometimes they'll ask, "What did your father do?"
Okay.
Or who is your grandfather to start with?
Mhm,
Yes, was there and this village, I don't know how to call it, maybe villageism or something. They'll somebody will ask you, has
mm,
there been any leader in your family, like in your lineage, from
mm,
all the way from your grandfather or whoever, the great grandfather, and in that lineage, has there
mhm,
been any person who has shown some kind of or who has been in some certain position as a
mhm,
leader or something?
mhm,
It's a very naive way of looking things, but
mhm.
it happens. And then they will now consider, and it's something that I encountered on the ground, because there was this issue of maybe at some point your grandfather had an issue with a neighbor, that time Kitambo,
Yep.
and the way they solved the issue, the other party was not comfortable.
Mhm,
It will come up in your campaign, in your
mhm,
election. it will come up. You might and it's a big factor. You might ignore it or try to assume, or yeah, but somebody somewhere will just bring it up in a meeting. Maybe you're having a group of mamas, and you're talking to about maybe 100 shows on the ground,
mhm,
and trying to convince them
mhm.
that you are the right person. Then somebody will just get up, an old mama, and says, "Yes, whatever you're saying is true, and we like what you're telling us, and you make sense. But let me ask you, do you know that at some point this and this happened, and it affected a lot of people?" And then you
Mm.
are like, you've never heard of it,
Yeah.
because with our generation, nobody follows up on what our great grandfathers and fathers did. So
Mm.
it's a surprise thing, and then everybody's looking at you, trying to waiting for you to address that issue, and
This
it
is.
and it affects the. But I also realized that uh, our people love history.
Mm.
They love history. They will always relate your current way of doing things to some people they know, or
Mm.
some people that are related to you.
Mm.
And if whatever happened to you, there's a friend of mine. I think he's my age mate. I don't know. I think he's 1 year younger than me.
Mm.
He won an elective seat because the father, his
Mm.
father, when he used to, I think his father was a teacher when he used to be, in the village,
Mm.
and fortunately or unfortunately, he worked in the villages, in the schools there in the village. He used to relate well with the people, and people are like, this guy,
Mm.
if he truly is he's that man's son.
Son.
yes, he might help us, or he might do whatever he's saying he wants to do for us. And with that, people voted for him all the way from his village to the end of his ward, the farthest end, and he got a lot of votes and he won. But coming back to your question, I want to talk about myself.
Mhm.
Before the 2022 election, used to work at the CDF office. I was a CDF committee member because the current MP, who was also the MP at that time, was a friend of mine, and we did a very nice campaign in 2017, and he won, and by luck, or by chance, I got to work at the office,
Mhm.
and I was there as a representative of the youth and a representative of my ward, because we have 6 wards,
Yeah.
and I used to represent my ward in the committee. So I tried as much as possible to pull enough,
Mm.
or as much. No, I can't say enough, but
Mm.
I tried to
Mm.
pull as much as I could on development
You're
to
constantly.
my
Yeah.
ward.
Mhm.
Yeah, so whenever they used to ask me, yeah, with your age, what have you done? I used to remind them, you guys, I requested, I made a proposal for this school, and they got an administration block. It was constructed, that was about 2.3 million. The other school, we did, a story building. I used to do this road. It was done for the 5 years I was in the office. It was always done and repaired and maintained every financial year. I had so many. I had a couple of things I could, tell the people that I've done.
Okay,
But,
let
but
me.
then again, but then again, but then again, they'll still come back and tell you and ask you, but you are not the MP. Whatever
Yes.
you say, whatever you're telling us was done by the MP.
Yeah.
So you just a conduit. You are just a connection to from the people to the MP. So again, they put you in a corner.
Now I'm learning another new thing from you about how you are representing your ward when you are working with the MP in the CDF. You know,
Yes.
when you go to the county government,
Yeah.
when they want to build, or an MCA wants to construct a road, the village road, that
Yes.
money has to be appropriated by the county assembly. Is
Yes.
it
Yes.
true? But
Yes. That is true.
for the CDF now, it's not appropriated, it's just you allocate based on the MP has been given that chunk of money. So like he would say, okay, this is costing 3,000. Okay, thank you for
Yeah.
that. That was I wanted to know.
Yeah. Let me give an example. Let me say in the financial year 20, I think it was 2016, 27, 2015, 20.
Mm,
No, sorry. 2020, 2020, 2021.
mm,
We got an allocation of about 130 million
mhm.
at the CDF
Oh,
constituency.
yeah.
And as a committee, you get to sit.
Mhm,
Oh, I want to be very honest. The MP, who's now the patron of the committee or the whole thing, has
mhm.
the final say, which is not supposed to be the case,
Yes.
but he has the final say. So you as a committee will sit down, and because you represent different regions, you will
Mhm,
come up with projects for your region,
mhm,
and if you can make the proposals yourself. I used to make proposals for my the projects I wanted, because I used to go to the schools and tell the headmasters, please, I want to do 3 classes
yeah.
in this school. Just sit down as the BOM and make a proposal of three
Oh,
classes
mhm,
with and put the minimum amount per class to be maybe 1 million.
mhm.
But then you will wait for the proposal; it does not come. Those guys don't even take it seriously, and because they're my people, I have to go back, sit down, make the proposal, write it, and print it, and take it to the office for me to get the whatever I wanted to do. And
Mhm.
when I was there, my main agenda was to make sure that all the primary schools, I have about 10 primary schools in my ward,
Mhm.
and none, only two have administration blocks. So my agenda when I got into office, my one single agenda was to make sure every primary school has an
Yeah.
administration block, an
No.
office for the headmaster, staff room for the other teachers, another office for the deputy, and then a castor and one or two things in a nice modern administration blocks.
Administration block.
So yeah, so and it was easy for me because I used to use the first template that I made
Mm.
for the administration block for the rest of the school. So I'll just change the names and say, Muma Primary School needs an administration block, and then I just the rest, whatever is that down there is the same because the amount of money allocated for administration block is the same. So
Okay.
yeah, but that is basically what. But then we can do the proposals,
Mhm.
we can do the allocation because the best thing when the money comes, it comes in both heads.
Mhm.
There is a 25% that always goes to bursaries, then there's a 6% goes to administration in the office, then there's the 2% for environment, there's another 2% for sports and culture, and then there's the rest that remains
Now,
for development.
development.
Yes, that is now the proposal. That is where you make the proposals.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. How were you able to deal with the issue of handouts? Because maybe sometimes you did not have financial muscles and your opponent was dishing out money, yet maybe they did not have very good blueprint, yet they had very good money to dish out to the young people.
Yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't say I was I wasn't doing that bad.
Mm.
I had some little bit of I had some little bit of my own. Uh, so I tried to match.
Yeah.
I tried to match. The dishing out, but
Mhm.
I'll say there are people who are well oiled,
Mhm.
and sometimes, which was very unfortunate, you
Mhm.
might go to a certain, you might meet some people in a certain different location of your head of jurisdiction,
Mhm.
and when you meet them, you talk to them, you tell them what you want,
Mhm.
what you want to do for them, and then you ask for their support. After the end of the meeting, you have to line them up and give them something. There's an I think it was once or twice. I had called about 50 people,
Mhm.
and in my planning, I had made I had kept, I'd say, let's say I'm giving each 100 shillings, so I had maybe 5,000 shillings for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I got there are about 200 people.
Ah,
Everybody has told everybody, and it is bad. It is unfortunate, or it's it is sad for the guy when they know that you have the money.
yeah.
Uh, Whenever you call for a meeting, then people will flock
The flow.
there
Yeah.
because they know at the end of the meeting you must give them something.
Mm.
So you can call a meeting of 50 people, 200 people appear. You
Mm.
cannot chase them away. You cannot pick, or you cannot cherry pick and give this. So
Mm.
I had to use, and I couldn't reduce the amount of money I wanted to give them.
Mm.
So sometimes you have to make some, phone calls here and there, and,
But
make
Moesh,
everybody get. Yes.
do you think it will reach a time whereby, as a society, we will not make decision based on maybe the money that is given to us, and just made decision based on the person, the leadership that we want, that we sit down as an county, or a ward rep, a ward somewhere, then we say what are the challenges that we go through, and we have like three candidates, and this is what candidate A, candidate B, candidate C is offering. Then we evaluate them. Then feel that out of the three, we come out with one person who understands our challenges, with or without him giving us money, that we have to vote this man because we believe in his ideology and vision. Do you think that we will reach that point in life, or in our time?
I think it is a combination of both.
Mm.
People listen,
Yeah.
honestly, the people listen to whatever you're saying. They'll always there and it's true, they always weigh or whatever you're saying and compare it to whatever the other person is saying. But for them to remember,
Mm.
for them to always have that in mind, it must be, pushed with, that now the finance part. Because you'll tell them today you will construct a road,
Yeah.
and they will listen, and it's a good thing you've said. They like it, and they believe that you'll do what you've just said. But
Mm.
then the other guy comes and tells them, I'll do the same road, but because now we are here, before I get into office, because now we are here, just, you guys just line up. I have something for you guys. And, at the end of the day, and that might happen in the same day, but the second guy will get the vote, and you end up, the first guy will lose. So I think it is a combination of both. You need
Mhm.
to have the ideas,
Mhm.
you need to have the wisdom
Mm.
of working for these guys. But again, the finance thing is really very important. It is very important. We hope at some point we'll get to a point whereby we only be selling ideas
Yeah.
to the people. We and like whatever happens in the other side, whatever happens in the US, where you guys actually fund the
Yes.
aspirants.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it will take a while. It'll take a while. You must be prepared financially for this 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 process.
Okay, there's also another challenge that most of the young leaders that I've spoken to have talked about, the issue of marital status, and this marital status is kind of like very cultural,
Hmm.
whereby either if you're married, that will give you a plus.
Hmm.
Secondly, if you have a house at your place, especially
Hmm.
in the village, you
In
need
the
also
village, yes.
to have like in Luo we call it either you have Simba or
Hmm.
Dala, as in a homestead.
Yes,
So
yes.
maybe sometimes they might if you are not married, that one will give them like, oh, you don't have a house, that one will get, yeah, or you do don't why do they so much put those things as consideration, yet if you have a leader who is very clear on his mind who want to deliver, these are some of the things that should not even be considered.
Yeah. Uh, but people, I think from my experience, the house part, it used to be a very important factor.
Mm,
The lack or the fact that you have a house or not is starting to become a factor that they don't take seriously.
mhm,
But the factor of marriage and having a family is very important. It is so important
mhm,
that people might not listen to you when you're addressing them.
mm,
It is that important because there's this question somebody will ask.
mhm,
Now, you want to lead us,
mm,
but you can't lead your family. Show us that you are able to start a family
mhm,
or make a family and
mm,
lead the family successfully
mm.
for us to believe that you have the ability to be a leader. And they make sense.
Yeah,
if
at
you
some
if you
point
look
they
at it, if you look at it, you'll see that they sense in whatever they're saying.
mm,
But some of our guys, some of the youth nowadays are taking their time in, some might not be comfortable trying to commit to a certain partner at a
mhm,
certain age. Some
mhm,
might want, to stabilize in terms of finance and the rest economically and whatever,
mhm,
before they get married. So, but I don't think they are going to give you audience
mm.
if you come to the village. Might happen in the
Town.
cities, in towns,
Mm,
Yeah, it might happen there. They might not even know whether you're married or not. But in the village, everybody knows everybody.
mm.
So they'll always ask you, where is your family?
Yeah.
How many kids do you have? Sometimes they even go further and ask you if you have a son.
Yeah, now it is cultural. Now it's
It
feel
is
like
now cultural. Yeah,
a
yeah,
culture
yeah.
thing.
So the marriage thing is very important. The house thing is losing the strength it had before.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes people say, but he has a house. He has a house in town. He has a house in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So if we give him money, he might decide to stay around and maybe construct one or two simbas or a house for him in the village.
Yes, and that is a
Yeah.
big thing. Maybe also to bring it again with the family members, because like some leaders, if you read, I was just when people were running on 2027, I was going through an article and I saw so many of young leaders who were dismissed by their family members, that their family members were doubting their capabilities to run, and it went further such that the family member would rather support another opponent, yet he's leaving you as the family member. I don't know, how do you handle that when it happened to you?
Uh, 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 Honestly, when you are buying in the village,
Yeah.
it is it is a requirement that the first thing that you do is to call the family, the extended family, and tell them you're buying.
Mhm,
And it is true that they might not support you at that time.
mhm.
But the most important thing is to declare
Oh, okay.
your ambition. When you've just that is what I did.
Mm,
When you declare your ambition to
yeah,
vie for
yeah.
this seat,
Mm,
sometimes it's possible that in from one single family you have like two or three aspirants from one single family. Like your uncles are seated there and they know they are going to be on the ballot, and they're just waiting for you to finish whatever you're saying, and then they leave and they go to campaign for themselves somewhere else, or even go to the campaign you. But
mm,
the most important thing is to tell the people. I called my
mm,
family, I told them I'm buying, and they gave me the go ahead.
mm,
Never, uh, okay, it might happen, it might be different to other people, but I'll say during my time campaigning, I tried to ignore the
mm,
issues my family were raising, that is the extended family. I know for certain, or I saw my uncles campaigning for different aspirants.
mhm,
It is known that some were against my ambition. Sometimes it's an infight within the family. Sometimes it's the kisses are known to be very jealousy type of people.
mm.
We are known. We are it's atuaribi jina, but we are known that we
But I
we are
think
this kind of people.
that
So
is in all the families.
ah
I don't think like all the families that are 100% will support you. There are those who will disagree with you.
Yeah. So I think the best thing I'll tell my colleagues or the youth or the new entrants, just ignore all the antiques and the chaos the family is causing. Go to the people, tell them I need one, two, three from you guys, and when you guys give me this opportunity, I'll do one, two, three. And people outside there might consider. I'll say I got very little votes at home than
Mhm.
outside.
Then
Yes.
outside.
Yeah, the two polling centers that I'll call my polling centers,
Mhm,
the number of votes I got there was not what I imagined or expected. But again, I got more votes,
mhm,
from the other polling centers that I never, that you guys are not even related. You guys are, yeah. So family, it's an issue, but I think
mhm.
the best thing is to ignore and go ahead, you know, with what you're planning to do.
Okay, thank you very
Yeah.
much. We were done with those are the kind of the challenges that we're raising now. Before we wind up, we
Yes.
let us just go on to current issue.
Yes.
As a leader, I know these are some of the things that you might weigh on as a leader.
Yeah.
I hope you're aware of our police. They want to be taken to Haiti to fight the gang that is there.
Yes.
You think our police are ready for the gang because those gangs are ruthless in Haiti, and why is the government doing that?
I'm a very optimistic person. I always feel that if we have the ability or the capability of helping a brother,
Mhm,
uh, if we are in a position to help somebody or help a brother, let's go ahead and do so. I'm not really sure that our police are well prepared for these guns.
mhm,
But I hope, I wouldn't say that I don't want them to go there, because if they are going there to for a peace mission, it is a noble cause. It is a noble cause. But I hope they are well prepared. They are well trained. For those, there are 1,000 guys who are going. There are 1,000 officers that are planning to be taken to that place. They should be well trained, well equipped, and well prepared for whatever the terrain or the way things happen on the other side. But if we can find a way of helping our brothers in Haiti,
mhm.
it's good that we do so.
Because if you listen to majority of Kenyans, especially even leaders, some of them I'm not very happy with the idea based on some facts that that war has been there for the longest time, and the terrain is not such very easy. That is one.
Yeah,
Some are arguing, like even we have issues ourselves when you go to places like Baragoi, where we usually have the bandits are coming in. Why should we then take our officers out? Yet in our country itself, we have some issues that we are dealing with in terms of security. So those are some of the issues that people are
yeah.
raising. So that is there.
Just to weigh in on that.
Mhm,
Uh, Sometimes when we discuss these issues, we discuss them in isolation.
mhm.
Hello.
Nakusikia.
Oh yeah. When we
Mm,
discuss these issues that are happening in Kenya, we some of us try to discuss them in isolation. Sometimes we don't want to be honest on the issues.
mhm,
And the issues about whatever is happening in the northeastern parts of our country.
mhm.
These are issues that are well known by some of these politicians, and some of the time, in most cases, it
Mhm.
is these politicians, these opinion shapers in the community that
Yeah.
fuel
Mm,
or push these guys to do whatever they're doing there.
mm,
The police might be sent there. We do you know at some point we had the Kenyan army in those
mm,
regions.
mm,
At some point, we had a very big battalion
mhm.
of our soldiers in that region, and they couldn't do what was expected. And they came out and they left it. They left the work back. They gave back the work back to the police. So it is not that the police can't handle the
Mhm,
guys in that region. It is
mhm,
because nobody wants to address the issues these guys are arguing or tackling or trying to uh, bring out.
mm. Okay, so
Yeah,
that is
we handle them in isolation. We just say the police have been beaten, the police have been shot. But why? Why?
yeah.
Because who's fighting the police? Why would they fight the police? The
I
guys
don't
are fighting against themselves. Why would they
and
get the police? They start
and
shooting the
they're
police.
keeping
It
us
is
safe. They're keep, okay. I
yeah,
I I hope too you're following up. You're following what is taking place in the Bomas of Kenya. We call it the national dialogue. There are so many things that have come out.
yeah,
I was there. I listened and watched on how the Cherera they gave their submissions and sometimes it makes you wonder, do we really have a country, or we so like Who should we blame? Should we blame the officers, or who should we blame on what is happening? Because now it means like, from the look of things, if you hear what the Terera were disclosing that day or submitting, it
Yes,
means it was compromised in a way.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Where are we headed? And was it only the presidential, or all the elective posts should be put under scrutiny?
Yeah.
Because mm,
I think there's a term in Kenya.
yeah.
Uh, that is very common. It is jipange or kujipanga.
Ah, uh,
Hello.
and
Yeah, I'm back. Yes, yes. For it is our politics is it is a connection of a lot of stuff
mm,
from the start
mm,
to the finishing.
mm,
You always must have a strategy,
mm,
how you start, how you go by it,
mm,
and how you finish.
mm.
Now, uh, the Azimio team, us,
Yes, tell us what Azimio is thinking.
the Azimio team,
Uh,
hawako wamejipanga. It was walipangwa. You have to be prepared. You must have a plan.
uh,
You must have a plan. You know very well. You know very well any seat it must be fought for.
yeah,
People are not going to give you the seat on a silver platter. Like, they don't just donate it to you.
yeah.
You have to go for it, fight for it, take it.
Uh,
I wouldn't blame. We all know who won that election.
mm,
The presidential one. We all know.
mm.
But you see, the person that we know won was not declared. But the person mwenye alijipanga, the guy that was well organized with a strategy,
Uh,
a well laid plan,
yeah,
was actually declared the winner.
yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
So whatever is, people will disclose a lot of information of what happened, what
mhm,
took place, how
mhm,
it was cooked, who
mhm,
cooked,
mhm,
nani alipakua,
mhm,
all that.
mhm.
But we'll still go back to the same thing, and tell our people, whenever you get into the elective post,
Mhm,
know how you start,
mhm,
know how you do your campaign,
uh-huh.
and have a strategy of
Eh,
finishing. Other,
oh,
other than that, you will win. You'll have more votes, but you may not be declared the winner. But
oh,
again, whatever is happening in Bomas as in general, I
mhm,
think it's a good thing for the country, because you see, since the talks started, we are kind of peaceful.
mhm,
There's the business are running, well, and there's no disturbance in terms of like things like demonstration and all that.
mhm.
People have A lot of people have a lot of expectations. People have a lot of they hope something good will come out of Bomas. I'm one
Yeah,
of I'm one of the guys that are very optimistic that let's have something nice, something good, something good for the people
mm,
from the bomb, not for the leaders. I know some of them are very focused on themselves, and they would wish that at the end of it they benefit more.
mm.
But we are very optimistic that whatever is being done, whatever is happening in Bomas, it will be good for the people, and
Yeah,
will be peaceful.
especially I'm looking at it in terms of electoral justice, and this is that when we will be having our election, that our election will be not even free, but will be satisfying. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
want, if you to win, you know very well that this was a true win, and if you lost, you know very well that I've lost, and both things are good, because like if you lost, if you lose the election genuinely, it feels good, because like I did not do, next time I need to see where my weaknesses are.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if you lose, but like you're losing while doubting, then that one is not good. Today I was listening to, I think it's Profogola, and Profogola was was saying something like, in Kenya, if you're a presidential candidate,
Yes.
what you tell your advisor is, first of all, how can we steal election if I don't win? That's what you start.
Yes.
and and he gave analogy that even if you go back to the village, even the
Mm.
mamamboga will ask you the same question: are you
Yes.
sure you are going to win? Do you
Our
have
guy is winning.
money? Either utaenda utaiba, unajua, that is what comes. Okay, that is
Yeah.
the, then another thing also that maybe I want to know your opinion on is about the cost of living. It's something that is hitting people back. What can the now the president is now the president? We don't want to whether he's now the what should we do?
Yeah. You know, I'll say the cost of living is being affected by a lot of factors. Some
Mhm,
are beyond our control.
mhm,
Some are things like fuel. These are things that are beyond our control. But
mhm,
I'll say, as a country, we need to live within our means.
mhm,
There is no need. There's no need. A government like ours can make or create or come up with a budget of 4 billion, and we all know that the KRA, who are the tax collectors in our country, cannot even hit a target of 2 billion, 2 trillion. And you
mhm,
guys are having a budget of 4 trillion or 3 point something trillion.
mhm,
If we were honest to ourselves,
mhm,
we will always try to limit our we'll always try to weigh our ambitions, look at the achievable goals,
mhm.
and then live within our means.
Our means.
Say we are having this amount of money as tax.
Mhm,
uh, we hope to do one, two, three, four. We can prioritize. You cannot
mhm,
do everything in one single financial year. You can say we are dedicating this amount of money to other than there's the normal expenditures like paying salaries and whatever. But if
mhm,
you guys are talking about development, where would you force something that cannot be done within a certain period? Can
mhm,
just balance the sheets and say let's do 10 roads. You don't have to do 50 roads in one single financial year. Let's
mhm,
do 10 roads this financial year. We'll
mhm,
do 10 next year, and maybe build this number of dams this year, this financial year. And then another thing
mhm,
that most government personnel and government and people in the government don't consider as a factor, but it's something that is something that is very important, is how much money they are wasting.
mhm.
There is wastage in terms of trips.
Yeah.
There's wastage in these conferences. I used to be in the CDF. Let me give you an example. It
Mhm,
is it is it is a government institution, and CDF is a national. It's not a constituency. It is national. It's
yeah.
national. National NDCDF.
Mhm,
Uh, so we in the act
mhm.
we are supposed to have 9 sittings. I think, yeah, 9 sittings in
In a
in
year.
in one in one financial year. Yeah,
Yeah.
in a single financial year.
Mhm,
But I'll tell you, and every sitting is you guys must get in any single sitting, wherever you get, even if it's the monitoring and I used to lead the monitoring and evaluation subcommittee in
mhm,
the committee in our in the CDF.
mhm,
Even when we sit as a subcommittee, we get the allowance.
mhm,
Whenever we sit as a committee, as a whole committee, must get an allowance. Whenever we sit down, and allocate bursaries. And bursaries might take a whole week
Yeah.
in the
To
application process. Yeah, you
uh,
identify the guys that applied, identify the needy, identify the well doing. We all know these guys in our communities, so we always try to balance and
yeah.
try to allocate more to the most needy, and then the rest will get the remaining thing. So we used to have a lot of meetings
Mm.
in a financial year. I'll say it's a lot of meetings. So the government should learn to try to balance these things, and try to make sure that people don't spend a lot of money into the sittings and traveling, and try to reduce the amount of wastage in the government.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not very sure, but there's something somewhere I read. I think what last week, no, if not last week, I think the beginning of this week, whereby a minister, was it a minister or somebody, some government official had to carry some two ladies. Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
But,
You know,
but, but it always happens.
why?
Go you
Why?
as a politician. A lot of our meetings, a lot of our the guys in the government, when they have meetings, they'll always do the meetings in the cities. And Kenya, we have about 4 cities. We have Nakuru, we have Kisumu, we
Kisumu,
have Nairobi, and Mombasa.
Mombasa, yes.
I want to confirm to you today. And I'm not a prophet of doom, and I don't want choma. There's a term we use here called choma. I
Uh,
don't want choma for these guys, but I'm telling you, if the guys in Kisii want to have a meeting, they wouldn't go to Kisumu to start with. They would
uh,
want to go to the farthest city, maybe Mombasa. That is the first thing. Now, there's and in this trip, they already have these baggage of carrying the ladies
uh,
in the budget. Yes. So it's something that is happening all over. They are just trying to crucify this cabinet secretary. But
mhm.
even the guys who are crucifying the cabinet secretary, no, they also do the same thing.
So it is something that has been it has been
It's a
normalized.
culture. It is a culture. It's a culture of this. It is
So
now.
we in the media should not complain when we got of those.
No,
Always,
you'll get there. You'll get there. You you get given that position, and brother Benson,
uh,
I know you might do the same. I'm not saying you are that kind of a person,
yeah.
but there's a possibility you might do the same thing.
No, 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 I don't think so. And,
Um, I, I don't like judging. Some of these guys are my friends, and I know them in person. But
uh,
and I don't want to judge them. But I know it is something that is happening, and it's a culture. It's a culture.
maybe we need to have a one-on-one sit down with them and ask them what is making you feel like now you should do this. You can carry an extra person at the expenses of the government, yet maybe that money should be used somewhere. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a question that we need to ask, but we all
and
know the answer.
and by the way, let me remind our viewers, those who are
Yes.
interested in applying for green card, it is now officially open. You can do your application if you you want to have American Dream. You can go and do application. It's for free. Don't pay any money. So just go to the right website and do your application. You never know; it might be your luck. Our Mwesh is here. I like the conversation. This great. Let's keep supporting each other. Then
That's my very good friend John Ogada,
John Ogada, yes, and there's our
cabinet
friend
party
also
leader.
who said yes, hiyo ndio hata inaletanga watu kwa hizo meetings. I think he's referring to a day when you went and found 200 people and
I had a meeting of 50 people. When I
and
got
100
there,
people
there were
came.
more than 200. So I
200
had an
came.
extra 150.
Yeah, to give
So
out.
you can
So
imagine, you can imagine how difficult it was for me to handle
yeah,
that.
so we have Brother Oteng. Thank you so much for following. We have Donald Kimaya. We have Brenda Obedi too for following. Thank you so much for being with us and supporting this channel. Maybe Moesh, your last remarks before we wind up.
I would say with the current political, political way of doing things,
Mhm,
I think the word kujipanga is a very
mhm,
important word. If you want to get into politics
mhm,
as a youth or a new entrant,
mhm,
please jipange.
mhm.
The second thing I would want to encourage my fellow youth, please let's go for these seats. If
Yes,
it's possible, let's have somebody even going for the presidency. Although I know it needs a lot of courage and a lot of a lot of
mhm.
finance.
Finance.
But if we have somebody that can go for this seat, let's go for it,
Mhm.
and I hope the fellow youth will support our youth our youths in these seats. Other than that, I'll be back in 2027. I
No,
think more stronger,
we will,
more
we will,
experienced.
we will still look for you to see what you're doing, because I don't think like leadership usually, or what you're doing for your community, ends at the ballot. Provided
Yeah,
that you're a leader, it is a continuation of seeing your village changes with or without being in elective seats. But that is what is there. And tomorrow we are very lucky. We will be hosting a county. We call it the nominated member of county assembly from Migori. We will have to talk to him. At least he's a young guy, a youth who is in the leadership. We want to see the challenges they're facing, or how did he get nominated. So don't miss out on the show tomorrow. For my good friend Honorable Dennis, thank you so much for taking your time to be with me in this show. And to our viewers and those who have commented, thank you so much. Maybe we are kindly requesting you to invite a friend to give a subscription so we can grow as we talk about the leadership and issues that affect our country and our surrounding. Thank you so much. May I see you
asante,
tomorrow? Thank you so much.
asante sana brother Benson.